My name's Ryan Moore. Grateful for this opportunity to share some of my story. I grew up in a small town and really had a troubled childhood. I came from a broken home and had my first experience with drugs and alcohol in middle school, which really led to kind of a reckless life. I did a lot of partying, did a lot of very dumb, stupid things, and ultimately I met my wife late in life, and she had already been married and had 3 kids and was divorced. And I had never married, never had kids. So we were wanting to have a child together. And so it took us over a year as we were trying to, get pregnant, and eventually that happened. And so it was exciting times. And when we went to the doctors to have the appointment where we were going to learn the gender reveal, we learned we were having a girl. But also during that appointment, we could tell that with the technicians that something was up, something wasn't right. And so ultimately what they showed us in the ultrasound was that in the womb, our daughter had an underdeveloped space in the back of her brain. And it's the area called the cerebellum, which is the part that controls the motor skills. And about half of it really wasn't there. But when it came to the underdeveloped space in her brain, they said that's a very rare condition called Dandy-Walker syndrome. And so the cerebellum controls the motor skills, so they thought we would be facing a special needs child. And they ultimately asked us if we wanted to continue the pregnancy or abort the pregnancy. And that really wasn't an option. So I'll never forget it. On the ride home that day, my wife said, "We're not going to look this up and borrow trouble. We're going to pray our way through it because God doesn't make junk." I kind of had a pity party about it and was angry that that was what was happening. And so because I was a heavy drinker at the time and used alcohol as a stress outlet, I drank more. As far as the neurosurgeons, it took a lot longer. We were waiting in our hospital room and waiting for them to come in, and eventually 2 neurosurgeons came in and said, "We're sorry we took so long. We had to consult with other neurosurgeons, but we can't explain it. She has a fully formed cerebellum, and take her home and treat her like a normal child." So we really lost it. We wept, and it was a miracle. So you would have thought that would have been the thing that caused me to honor God and clean up my issues with alcohol, but I didn't. I continued to drink and use alcohol as a stress outlet, and it was putting a lot of strain on our marriage. And there was one weekend where we were at a lake house property with my business partner and my wife and newborn Marley, that I got, really, really drunk. Drank too much that weekend, and it upset everybody. And I was out of grace. I woke up the next morning hungover, and they had gotten in a car and left. And I knew my grace was done at that point. When I got home and she agreed to meet with me, because at that point she had left the house and gone to her mom's home, we sat down and she had an envelope sitting on the coffee table. And she gave me another chance. And what I didn't realize at the time was she had already had divorce papers drawn up. It was that next Sunday at church where I was invited to go down for prayer, and there was a very large guy, a gladiator type man named Dan, that I felt drawn to have him pray over me. And that's when he told me about Barn Men. And he told me it was a group of men that meets every Thursday night for prayer and praise reports. And he invited me to join that very next Thursday. So I went, and I'll never forget it. It was about 30 guys that prayed over me, and I just felt this amazing weight that was lifted. I'll never forget one of the barn men said, instead of the 12-step program, how about the one-step program? I haven't had a drop of alcohol since. It's been almost 7 years. And so I've been going to the barn since 2019, and it's really been absolutely huge in my life. It's taught me humility. It's taught me that there could always be worse circumstances. The situations that are shared in that barn are things that will humble you to the core. I'm just extremely grateful and humbled, and I give all the glory to God for this new life that I'm living, because I definitely feel renewed and full of gratitude.